Hi and welcome to this episode of Criminally Charged. In this week's episode, we're going to look at the case of Clarence Roberts. It's a bizarre case to say the least. The man that apparently died twice in the exact same circumstance. So without any further ado, we'll have a look into this case. This is the mystery of Clarence Roberts. The mystery of Clarence Roberts. The man who seemed to die twice. 52-year-old Clarence Roberts and his brother Carson owned a hardware shop in Nashville, Indiana. Clarence was a hard worker and was regarded as a pillar of the community. Clarence and his wife, Geneva, had married in 1941. She had come from humble beginnings and stood by him whilst he built his business, raising 4 children and moving into progressively nicer surroundings, eventually even acquiring 3 luxury cars and a large house. However, the profit from Clarence's hardware store was insufficient to finance this upper-class lifestyle, and the Robertses were in heavy debt. To cover the large expenses, Clarence sold his hardware shop and rolled over the capital into several grain elevators and an apartment complex. Misfortune sunk these real estates, however, and Clarence hit his low point financially when Sheriff Warren Roberts, his own brother, was ordered to repossess 2 of Clarence's luxury cars. The repossession occurred and the Robertses were left desolate and desperate. 1 month later on, November the 18th, 1970, a fire destroyed the shack on the Roberts family's property. 1 body was discovered, burned beyond recognition, but it was later identified as Clarence Roberts. On the 29th of November 1980, 10 years later, nearly to the day, another fire destroyed the Roberts' residence. 2 bodies were discovered inside. 1 was identified as Geneva Roberts, and the other was identified as Clarence Roberts. The same man died twice. So here are some of the case theories and suspects. It was recorded that 2 days before the first fire, Clarence was sighted in a tavern in Morgantown, another town in Brown County, where he bought dinner for a hobo and offered him work doing odd jobs around his house. The vagrant collapsed unexpectedly and complained of an ailment, and Clarence volunteered to take him to a doctor. However, a police search later showed that the incidents didn't seem to happen, as a search of the clinics and the hospitals in Brown County, all adjacent counties, turned up no record of a vagrant that was admitted for any kind of treatment. A shotgun was also discovered in the ashes of the first fire. Some believe Clarence, depressed from losing his cars and his money and his lifestyle, committed suicide and died in the first fire. Others, however, suspect that Clarence may have murdered the vagrant on the night before his death, watching while hiding in the woods. Although it was suspected that Clarence had shot himself with a shotgun, and the autopsy revealed that no shots were fired into the body, although blood evidence showed that the body found in 1970, the first fire, was most likely not Clarence's blood drawn from the corpse, as type AB was recorded, while Clarence was type B, in accordance to his medical reports found in the US Army service records. Another mismatched piece of evidence was the Masonic ring belonging to Clarence. It was actually found in the ashes, but oddly undamaged, yet the fire and the intensity of the fire would have caused significant damage. Adding to the speculation was that in 1970 was the same year that Clarence paid for multiple life insurance policies on himself, naming Geneva as the beneficiary. The inconsistent evidence from the first fire caused the insurance agencies to deny Geneva claiming Clarence's life insurance. The Roberts asked to have Clarence declared dead. However, the judge denied the request, citing insufficient evidence. Pathologist came to Geneva's side, believing that the body found in the shed in the first fire was Clarence. Geneva appealed and the courts upheld the denials, which was disheartening for her to say the least. Losing everything, Geneva moved to a more squalid house in a lower class area and took a job working in a kitchen of a local Howard Johnson's to make ends meet. Years later, neighbours reported seeing a strange man lurking around and near Geneva's house, who avoided contact with anyone. While it seems likely that Geneva had resumed dating after Clarence's death, the fact she denied contacting such a man or allowed anyone inside her house fueled speculation that the strange man was not her new boyfriend but was in fact Clarence, who had exhausted his savings and could no longer afford to be on the land, thus returning Geneva. Another factor was added to the gossip was that local shopkeepers said that Geneva often bought large quantities of beer from when she did her regular shops. As Geneva had diabetes, it was unlikely for her to be drinking this amount of alcohol, as it would make her severely ill, which did nothing but fuel beliefs that she was harbouring somebody in her house. The police set up surveillance at one point, and they monitored the house on a regular basis, photographing everything that came and went from the house. However, they did not locate the mystery man. Local reporter Helen Ayers became friendly with Geneva. She believed that Geneva was hiding something or someone. She had visited Geneva several times at her house. She recalled that Geneva would always meet her on the back porch and would never let her in her home. Helen also interviewed Clarence's sister, who lived near to the house. She said that she could hear Geneva talking with a man. However, she claimed that the man's voice did not sound like Clarence. In 1980, nearly a decade to the day after the first fire, the second fire burned down Geneva's house. The discovery of two bodies, one Geneva's, suggests several possibilities. One theory is that Clarence returned, murdered both Geneva and the strange man in a jealous rage. Another theory is that Clarence was indeed the strange man, and that he and Geneva committed suicide together to allow their children to cash in their life insurances. Yet another theory is that the unknown third party killed Clarence and Geneva and set the fire. It was believed by investigators that the second fire was definitely arson, and that an accelerant, probably turpentine, was placed from the bedroom to the back door. So did Clarence miraculously die twice? Or was one of them a mistake? Or was one of them an insurance job? Most likely the first one. What do you think? So there you have it. This week's episode of Criminally Charged was the mystery case of Clarence Roberts and his wife Geneva. It's a bizarre case. When I came across it, I couldn't quite get my head around it. I dug in a bit more and I researched a bit more, and the more I researched, the bizarrer it seemed to get. I no doubt that at least one of those people in those fires were in fact Clarence Roberts. I'm not sure. I'm more likely to think, I probably think that he more likely died in the second one. I think he's more likely to die in the second one. And maybe the first one was an insurance job that went wrong, and the mystery man that people kept claiming that they saw was just Clarence, just living with his wife. He couldn't go out to work or anything like that, so it was all down to his wife to support them both. When things got so desperate, so desperate, they had no choice but to commit suicide together. But then again, that doesn't explain the theory of arson. And if there was indeed a trail of turpentine from the front door to the bedroom, then who did that? As I said, this is a bizarre case. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Keep safe, look after one another. Until next episode, my name is Rob Bray. This is Criminally Charged, and I shall see you in the next one.